NSFW, what is the single most overrated experience of life? Sliced bread. It's alright. But I don't think it should be the basis for which we compare all other best things. Edit. Yeah, gold. I'm gonna make a ring. This thread is making me question if anything in life is enjoyable anymore. For women. Getting your period for the first time. Seriously. Why do adults always make it out to be something fantastic? Waking up at 4 AM in a pool of your own blood is horrifying. Trying to work up the courage to wake your mom parent up at 4 AM is even worse. Climbing the corporate ladder. And getting a job which earns more money. You work with more pretentious people. And it's more stressful when you have more responsibility. You don't even notice the extra income, as you just spend more on things you don't really need. I sometimes wonder what life would be like if I just had a low-income job, but did it with a bunch of people who I actually considered my buddies, and was relatively stress-free. Buying a house. The process is awful. Edit. Buying a house for the first time. Read that as buying a horse and started hypothesizing why that may be so. Turning 18. You anticipate it so much and then when it happens you're like, well, that was exciting, I guess. 18 who? I'm legal. 21 who? I can drink. 25 who? I can rent a car. 30 who? I'm a 35 who? I can a shuffles through papers. Run for president of the United States. Prom. You could have more fun on any given weekend while not spending $100s. Mine was pretty fun. But still. Friends and I had a hetero-zool LAN party instead. Most fun that I've ever had. Edit. Co-ed LAN party. Turning a particular age. 16. 18. 21. Men. Edit. The thrill of clicking yes. I'm 18 and above. On a PRN site will never be the same. Turning 10. OMG double digits. Taking someone's virginity. It was just awkward and I felt like I had done something bad when it was all over. Every single New Year's. Well. Looks like I'm gonna tell everyone I'll go to the gym this year. Losing your virginity. For most people. It'll be awkward. Embarrassing. And you'll be too nervous to enjoy it. It gets better though. Being pregnant. The women always talks about how wonderful it is being pregnant. The glow and all that shit, but I hated being pregnant. I felt like shit during my entire pregnancy. Lost 18 pounds because of extreme morning sickness, hyperemesis, and had to be hospitalized 3 times. Due to that I was not allowed to work, so I basically spent my entire pregnancy at home. In bed. Feeling like crap. Was bored out of my mind. Don't get me wrong. I love my kid to death. But for me. Shoelace. Aussie spring break. Bunch of dropkick bogans walking around in singlets and snapbacks and drunk bitchy girls who are so sloppy sex feels bad even at its best. Add that to the fact that the DJs must have downloaded the same playlist, and honestly if I had known this was what waited for me after a year of studying I probably wouldn't have studied so hard. Best moments were hanging out in the apartment with my mates. Eating noodles and playing Halo. I am so lost. Getting wicked drunk all the time. For as much fun as you could have. It's a slippery slope that often leads to embarrassment or worse. Prom. In high school a lot of girls were saying it was the most important night of their lives. Which makes me want to cry purple tears. To be fair. In small town high schools. That sort of extravagant night where you get to actually dress up and dance with your high school classmates for one last time is a big deal for them at that point in their lives. But if you went to high school in a big metropolitan area with a good club scene, every night could be impromptued into a prom night. I'm surprised your wedding day isn't up farther. I know there are some parts that are beautiful. But I've talked to multiple people that said it didn't live up to the hype. Mostly the stress factor. Making sure everything is perfect for all of those people. Maybe an open bar helps. Getting a bunch of karma. Can confirm. Death. You spend your whole life worrying about it. Fearing it. Sometimes looking forward to it. Religions are born to deal with the fear of it. Then end up causing lots of it. People write songs, books and scripts to explain, fetishize or run from it. Finally, when your life comes to its conclusion and you actually die, you aren't even around to experience it. Talk about overrated. The traditional tourist activities. People don't exactly go on about them, but it's always something along the lines of, well, you have to see, insert cathedral church historical site here. It's just what one does when and wherever. It's weird. I'm always obligated, if not by my parents, then by my friends. If not by my friends, then by the tourist guide. If not by the guide, then just by society setting up these expectations of grandeur to go to all these old and admittedly beautiful buildings and spend however many euros to get inside and wander around, doing nothing. Half the time. Literally the only reason I go is because everyone else goes. And it gets to me sometimes. Save your money and travel alone. Traveling alone is the best because you don't have to put up with everyone else's needs and bullshit. Starting college. It wasn't as hard as the teachers in high school lead me to believe. Every stage in life gets pitched as if it's so difficult. I don't know why. I remember being told high school would be so difficult. Then college. Then law school. Then the bar. Then working at a big firm. It's all bullshit. I think people say that stuff to either puff themselves up. Oh. You think what you're doing now is hard? Wait until you do X like I did. Or to try to trick people to work harder. Childhood. It's a controversial thing to say on Reddit these days. But honestly, as I get older, I love my life more. Having the autonomy to eat what I want, see my friends whenever I can, and plan trips and events with the people I love is great. People seem to remember being a child with a rosy glow as if you just ran around smiling all the time. But I remember being desperate to do countless things and being denied by the people that ran my life. People remember the excitement you get when you're a child being so intense. But so were the disappointments. So were the fears and the insecurities. Don't get me wrong. Being a child wasn't terrible. But it wasn't perfect either. I certainly wouldn't go back and I'm looking forward to making the most of everything coming up. High school. It's apparently the best time of your life. But I never had any good times until after high school. People who drink Monster a lot and save the empty cans as trophies. It's just an energy drink and not some sort of holy water. What the FCK? People do this? Threesome. Had fantasizes about it for years and when it finally happened it was awkward and weird and not that hot. I wonder if the other two guys enjoyed it. Crickets. Having a wedding. Huge waste of money. If you can't take this seriously, maybe there's not going to be a wedding. I lost my virginity a few weeks back. I'm 19, and my first thought when we were done was, this is what everyone made fun of me for missing out on? It gets better. And then it gets worse. First blowjob was the same way for me. Or maybe she just really sucked at it. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind user. Turning 21 and being able to legally buy liquor. The thrill in getting alcohol illegally is gone. The dumb shit we used to do. It was an adventure. It's great to order drinks at a bar though. But I mean, getting a bottle was funny. One night stands. Sex is great. But one night stands are more about conquering and victory than enjoyment. Afterwards they're always a bad decision in hindsight. Sadly enough, I have to say skydiving. It was cool, sure, but where I'm from it would have been $450, which is not really worth it. Luckily I won it as a prize. Should have gone for a year's supply of ramen. Eating bacon. It tastes good and all. but most people act like if it would be some kind of edible gold. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this. But it's funny to circle a jerk about the divinity of bacon. Watching The Big Bang Theory. Everyone I know either loves or hates this show with a passion. I watched an episode and thought, wow. League of Legends. Judging by your NSFW tag, I'm guessing that you're hoping someone will say SX is overrated. Well, it's not. It is the single greatest thing ever and you're missing out. But you'll get there. I ate a ghost pepper burrito the other day and was severely let down. I've been told it's the world's most insanely hot pepper and watched videos of chili pepper enthusiasts reduced to tears by them. But I was completely and thoroughly disappointed by this burrito. I don't know if they forgot the ghost pepper sauce or didn't put on enough. But it was one of the biggest letdowns I've ever experienced. I even got myself psyched up ahead of time, saying Butjalokia over and over like Beavis hopped up on a pot of coffee. Soon after, I wasn't chanting anything other than wow. That's actually kinda bland. Lesson learned. Never trust any chain restaurant that says something is hotter than hell. Eat at your own risk. Semicolon. It'll only end in bitter fig sauce flavored disappointment. Well, how about something that really is great, but still overrated? SX. It is truly wonderful. But once you get older, get married, have a family, it is also just a normal part of your life. Not a big deal. You do it when you both feel like it. It doesn't overwhelm your thoughts or your life. It is just as much a part of a normal day as sitting down to dinner and talking to your family. This isn't meant to diminish how great it is. But pop culture and youth culture makes a much bigger deal of it than older people do. Being a little kid and nostalgia in general. Everyone acts like that's the best time of your life. I mean, yay, it was awesome, but the older you get, the awesomer life gets. I think people who say life sucks as you get older for everyone is stupid. Nostalgia is stupid. It just makes your life suck because you regret. Clubbing. The noise. You can't have a conversation with anyone. You don't know what the hell anyone is saying. It's a terrible place to meet anyone of the opposite sex unless you're hot, then it wouldn't really matter where you went to pick people up. Now does it? And being a Canadian, I should point out, getting blood on your moccasins is such an awful mess. You just wish someone else could kill these baby seals. Not fun. Not fun at all. High school. So many people told me to enjoy it. These would be the golden years of my life. When I graduated, I decided that if that was the best life had for me, the life really sucked. Since then I've furthered MT education, traveled, been in love. I started my career, got married, bought a house. I've lost people I've loved more than my own life, gained several more, experimented with everything I can. High school is just a starting point. If I'd let those years define me, I'd still be some shy, dorky girl with no friends or future. Life is so much more than that. Smoking weed. Don't get me wrong. I smoke regularly and I feel no shame for doing so. My first time was awesome and I had a great night. However, it is not the cure for all of life's ailments like some people make it out to be. There are those who treat it like some great spiritual experience that has opened their eyes. There are those who consider cannabis to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. There are those that think that selling cannabis makes them champions of virtue and healers of the sick. I'm looking at you, Harbicide. As a friend of mine once eloquently put it, just makes your head feel weird. Going out, partying, getting blackout drunk. Repeat as if it's the coolest shit to do. It's so f***ing stupid. Emo. Edit. Because this one comment sent my karma into the freaking stratosphere. Relatively, I thought I'd clarify based on the responses. I'm down with some drinks and having a good time with friends and chilling and all that. I personally am not that interested in getting drunk. Just my preference is all. But to each their own. People can do what they want. I'm all for that. It's not my life. It's yours. And I am so down with that. My original comment was trying to explain that the compulsion to go out 5 nights a week and get pissed drunk is overrated, because I was answering Up's question. But at the same time, if that's what you're cool with, fine by me. You're just not someone I personally would want to hang out with by those means. Is that bad? No. It's just a personal preference. I know to a lot of people I probably seem boring as hell. But we all have eye preference. It's more about the social aspect of it than actually getting drunk and all of that. Okay. I have another answer that hasn't been mentioned yet. PRN. Most PRN is clearly putting too much effort to please the viewer to have any impression of reality. Maybe it's because I'm a woman. But 20 minutes of sucking an unnaturally large, elephant-sized dick and then 5 minutes of effing with the woman moaning and screaming while staring directly at the camera is not realistic by any means to me. Anything that isn't a real SZOL experience isn't going to be a turn on to me. It's like watching every other reality show on TV. Instantly become the skeptic. Not the horny female that wants to get off. That's like only a few million of the videos. What about the other few million that aren't like that? Smoking weed. The most addictive thing about weed is talking about it. Apparently. Probably doing it wrong. Getting high for getting high's sake isn't that much fun. But get high, but not cripplingly so, before sex, movie, concert, etc. tends to make those things far more enjoyable. Do it at the end of a night when you're going to sleep soon anyway. And make sure it's quality. Not LSD. Not overrated at all. Should be a requirement. Actually. Anal sex. Spoiler alert. Vagues feel much better. Oh my f***ing god, I hate that word so much. If it's done right. I would argue against that. I love vaginal sex, but if he knows what he's doing and the right angle, it's almost like he's hitting the spot even in the ass. I've had the largest orgasms I've ever experienced through an L than any other form of sex. Going out clubbing with your friends is awful, I think. 1. Pay money to get in the club. You're basically paying to queue in line with other guys trying to impress anything of the opposite sex with a pulse. 2. You f***ing ruin your shoes. Covered in piss and vomit and drinks and vomit. 3. You can't talk to a single person the entire night without shouting 3 inches from their ear. 4. You inevitably cause World War III in your social group by doing something minor and every CNT overreacting thanks to the beer. 5. Wake up in the morning feeling like shitty with 20 missed calls and 15 texts from the girl you drunk called saying they were the one and you've always loved them. 6. Check the bank account after a night out. Want to die. Making a family boggles my mind. I have heard people say you don't know responsibility until you have a family till you don't want kids. Why? Are you an asshole? Just blows my mind. You don't have to start a family. People deem you successful if you have a family. It is so stupid. You're not successful unless you have a family. Everything is overrated. Everything is hyped to death. But in reality is finite and over before you have a chance to appreciate it. As we try to grasp these fleeting moments, our scumbag brains have to have built up everything beforehand as life-altering never dreamed of bliss. It makes it harder to enjoy things. And harder to appreciate the nuances and small pleasures of new experiences. The best way to enjoy and appreciate experiences is to do your best to put blinders on when others hype such things. So that you might be able to go in without expectations. The best thing to do is be as present as possible. And you'll find yourself enjoying everything hell of a lot more. Reddit Gold. New Year's Eve celebrations. People always talk about steak and lobster as if they're the food of the gods. I like a good steak. But I wouldn't go out of my way to cut up and eat such a big chunk of meat. TBH, a gourmet burger excites me more. And lobster is just a pain in the ass to eat. And doesn't even taste that good. Crab meat is sweeter at least.